You will never be perfect. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but when it comes to the human experience, perfection doesn't exist. We can come close to perfect in many ways, but at the end of the day, we're all inherently flawed. How does it make you feel to hear that? Do you feel a weight lift off your chest? Or perhaps, do you feel even more constricted by your own limitations? If it's the latter, you're probably a victim of perfectionism. Damn, the last time I synced this was December 9th, 2021. Oops. And I definitely did not change the time on my Switch because it's actually 1 in the morning while I'm recording this. Why would you ever think that? Hello, welcome back to the channel. I thought today that we would talk a little bit about the idea, or rather the facade, that is perfectionism. And I thought, what game would be more perfect to discuss perfectionism than Animal Crossing, because a lot of people take this game very seriously. And a lot of people who are much more talented than me have made much cooler islands than me. And it was one of those things where I saw so many people posting about it online and posting their islands, and I was like, man, mine isn't good enough. I need to make it better. I need to make mine more like theirs. And I would just keep adding on and keep adding on and keep adding on. And I was never truly happy with it. And I think at some point, rather than saying, this is it, I've completed my island, it was more like, I give up. I guess this is the best I can do. And at some point I just put it down and I never picked it back up again. So yeah, until now. God, my island's gonna be a mess. I'm so sorry to all of my islanders. Hello, yes, it's definitely 4:17 p.m. on a Wednesday. This is bringing back so many memories. I used to love playing this game. Let me go fix that really quick. Yeah, there's bugs. There's a lot going on. I have my COVID mask ready to go. These were darker times, darker times. Let me just change. What is this? What is this? How do I pick it up? I've forgotten how to do everything. Stop. Let me pick things up. Oh, okay. Listen, I'm not in the best condition right now. Not in the best state for visitors. Oh. Hey. Let me go change real quick. I don't know if I actually can change while she's here. Don't mind me. BRB. Let me just. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. I want to use this, please. No, don't turn the light off. How do I use my bug wand? I've forgotten everything. You guys want to see my house real quick? I don't even remember what it looks like. Oh god, how many years has this ramen been here? So anyway, this is not meant to be a house tour. Not a house tour video. I did want to talk about the idea of perfectionism and how it has personally affected my life. Up until, I would say, recently, I've always been a little bit of a perfectionist, to the point of detriment, where I kind of just felt like if I wasn't perfect at something the first time, there was no reason to even try at it. Oh yeah, I forgot I had a basement. You know, the cockroach is fitting. I'm gonna leave the cockroach down here. I have another turtle on top of the washing machine. All right, time to face the carnage that is outside. Okay. I'm sure I have a million messages. Oh, only 2 people care about me? My mom and the Happy Home Academy? Oh yeah, it was my birthday recently. Wow. Thanks, Mom. My turtle! I forgot about my snapping turtle. Hey, bud. He's still alive after all these years. Wow. Self-sufficient king. We love it. 2 years and 8 months? So far, I don't see anything that needs any maintenance. I really thought there was gonna be more. My favorite old grandpa. A bug. I don't know how to get my tools out. Where are my tools? That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Oh my god, it's been years. Okay, back to the topic at hand. So, the idea of perfectionism, for me, ever since I was a kid, it has kind of been an issue for me. When I was young, I was a quote-unquote gifted kid. Any of my fellow gifted kids out there, burnt out gifted kids. But yeah, that basically meant that any hobby or skill that I tried to pick up and wasn't immediately good at, I just tossed it aside and went, nope, not gonna deal with that. A gyroid. Sorry, a twangoid. My bad. Oh my god, I'm relearning. My brain is rewiring itself as we speak. So yeah, I thought I was doing that in pursuit of my strengths, but really I was just chasing the high of perfectionism. And that led to a cycle of burnout. When I reached high school, I could no longer cast aside things that I wasn't good at, like math and science, which, you know, I needed for class. I struggled with my internal image of being gifted while simultaneously failing at trigonometry, so that was fun. But yeah, oh my god, I was so bad at that class. One time there was a test and I forgot to bring a calculator and the teacher marked like 5 points off of my test and I just cried. I just cried. But yeah, that was exactly how things went. I'm gonna see if he's home right now. He was my starter islander. He is. Oh, and he has drinks for both of us. He calls me Professor Pie. I forgot about that. Listen, you don't need to rub it in. Oh, the fact that I never finished this. Oh no. Oh, it's the perfectionism creeping in. Oh no. No, what did I just do? I don't remember how to fix that. What am I doing? Put it back. It's off center. It's off center. Oh my god, thank you. Jesus Christ. This is really showing my true colors, isn't it? The whole point of this video was to talk about how I used to be a perfectionist and how I've overcome it, and here I am being like, I'm ruining everything and I need to fix it. How do I fix it? This is what I want to place. Now I just need to fix... Okay, that was the wrong one, but I'm glad I figured it out. Oh my god. Oh my god! Okay. Now that we've avoided that crisis that just occurred. Okay. Oh, I'm really not making a good case for myself here. For the whole, I'm over being a perfectionist. Yeah. So, clearly I'm not. I'm actually, okay, but all jokes aside, I'm much better than I used to be. I feel like my perfectionism kind of warped from I'm not good at this thing, so I'm just never gonna do it again, to I'm not good at this thing, therefore I have to be the best at it. If I don't know how to do something now, I'm like, you bet your ass I'm gonna figure it out. Which I feel like is a much healthier way of looking at things, to be totally honest with you. But yeah, back in the day, it was just like, you're not good at something, just give up. And I'm so glad that I have become a more resilient person at this point, where sometimes even if my brain says that to me, I'm like, screw you, I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna be really good at it. And I'm gonna work at it until I'm the best that's ever been, which also is not that healthy, because you should not try to be the best at anything, because when you eventually don't succeed at that thing, if you eventually don't succeed at that thing, it's gonna really suck, and it's kind of gonna be an ego hit, to be honest. So let's just say I've removed one mental health issue and replaced it with another. I'm learning French so I can say your name properly now, Chevre. It's Chevre. I don't want to call her that. But yeah, it certainly took me a long time to get to the point where I was no longer beating myself up about not being perfect at things, or just not even being good at things. Because, you know, if you're gonna... Oh god, do you see all those weeds? Holy crap. Okay, hang on. Because if you're gonna try at anything, you're gonna start out bad. And that's just the way that life is. And the fact that my brain was like, absolutely not. I would be mad that I am not good. Kind of a stupid brain moment. I don't know why my brain thought that that made any sense at all. And if your brain is telling you that you are bad at things and that you should feel sad about being bad at things, you should tell your brain that that's really dumb. Because it is. It's really, really dumb. Because life is all about making mistakes. So, like, you're not gonna be perfect. And you're gonna have a journey to get to a point where you're even passably good. It's never gonna be easy. You're never gonna get something right off the go. And if you do, it's probably because your brain is elastic and you're a child. Kids have such, like, spongy little porous brains. Of course they're good at things right off the bat because they, like, observe and learn really quickly. That's just how kids are. If kids weren't that way, can you imagine how screwed the world would be? Because no one would know how to read or write, or it would take them a remarkably long time to learn. And none of us would be gifted or skilled at anything. We'd have no talents at all. There would be no musicians, no artists, or if there were, they wouldn't come about until way later in life. What? How many coconuts do I have, dude? Oh, I have 2 stacks of 10. Maybe I should stop picking up coconuts. Okay. So yeah, of course, when you're a kid, you're gonna learn way quicker and you're gonna be way better at stuff right off the bat. Forgot about my cute little cafe. Adorable. There's a sticker there we're gonna get. Yeah, give me that shit. Thank you. I'm stuck now. Help! Oh, it's one of the water bugs. Get him. Oh my god, get him. Yeah. Swap it. Okay, I just shat that out. Anyway, let's keep going. That was tough for me to figure out is that, like, yeah, kids are gonna be good at stuff. Adults, not necessarily. I think the only people who are considered, like, they still have spongy, porous brains into adulthood, I believe is people with autism, because people with autism are very good at so many things. And I think it's just their brains are more porous, you know? I mean, there's more to it, obviously. Like, the scientific talks about autism and how it affects the brain and everything, but it just seems like they're better at retaining information and just extrapolating from it, basically. And just learning how to do things from observation, which is really cool. It's almost kind of like a superpower. It's like they've unlocked something that we all lose once we hit adulthood. But if you were in the camp of not someone with autism, or not someone who is neurologically diverse, then you're probably one of those people who isn't good at stuff on the first try. Probably most of the population, I would say, is in that camp. And there's really nothing wrong with it. But for some of us, it's so hard to let go of the idea of perfect, or the idea of as close to perfect as possible, just because we at one time or another maybe achieved it or felt that we were close to achieving it. And it's honestly so much easier just being mad at ourselves for not being good at something than putting in the work to actually become good at it. As harsh as that sounds, it is the truth. It is way easier to just be morose and melancholy about the fact that you're not good at something right off the bat, rather than putting an effort to become good at it. It's a little hand in hand with a little taste of depression, you know what I'm saying? So to give you a real life example of things that I struggled with as a kid, or rather as a teenager, after I was done being gifted pretty much, one of the issues that I struggled with was my brother was always really good at art. He was just naturally gifted at it and continued to be good at it because he continued to work at it. Oh God, I created a whole Christmas themed stage over here. We're gonna ignore that for now. But yeah, as a kid, he was just great at art and continued to be good at art because he continued to practice with it. And I would try to be good at art. I would try to measure up to the types of stuff that he made. But I was 2 years younger than him, so I had 2 years less of practice. And I was mad at myself that I was not at his level, despite the fact that I was 2 years younger. And I didn't reach his level because I just gave up on art. He was good at art, he was good at writing, he was good at singing, good at theater, and these were all things that I aspired to do as well. But seeing him excel at them and seeing myself not measure up to his level of success in these things, rather than take it as inspiration and go, oh, maybe I'll be like him one day. Instead it was, well, I'll just never measure up to him, so I should just give up at this point. I'm never gonna reach the level that he's at for any of this stuff because he's just better than I am. And I was convinced of that, and I basically based my whole, all of my hobbies around the fact that I just didn't measure up to my brother. And I started creating new hobbies for myself that he didn't work on. For instance, oh hey, the Statue of Liberty. For instance, he had never done anything with video editing. He didn't know how to do it. So that was what I latched onto because I was like, this is something that I could be good at, and I feel like I am. But if I was, that kid now, if I was that kid again with the adult knowledge and experience that I have, of course I would be like, this is silly, I'm just gonna keep working at it until I'm good at it. But when you're a depressed teenager, when you're moody and angsty and feel like the world is against you, of course you're gonna be like, well, I'll just never be good enough, I guess. Ooh, I got a beetle. I'm catching so many bugs today. Look at me go. And I'm pretty sure my brother I seem to remember he invited me to his island as well. And I felt a little smug because I felt like my island was better. For the first time in my life, I'm better at something than my brother. Video games is one of those things that we started doing about the same time, but I kind of got more into it than he did. And specifically when we would play stuff like Super Smash Brothers, he would always be a dirty kill thief when I was, playing by the rules and still good. So I like to think that I've always been a little bit better at video games than my brother. No shade to my brother, but I do feel like they're kind of my strong suit, which is why I based my entire YouTube channel around them, to be fair. Am I good at them? No. Am I better than my brother? Maybe. But that's the thing. See? I play these games even though I'm not perfect at them. Now that I think about it, there's a very striking difference between when I played as a kid and now me playing as an adult. Because yeah, I'm not good at video games, all of them. I'm good at some, easy ones like The Sims, where you make up everything as you go. But I am not good at certain games, and I'm actually okay with that. And there's certain games that I have not 100%ed, that I don't intend 100%, or that I've just said, all right, I'm done with this game because I couldn't figure something out. And rather than be frustrated, I just went, nope, I'm good. I have enjoyed the time that I have spent with this game. I am now done with it. Whereas when I was a kid, there was a lot of games that I started and never finished because they were just too hard and I gave up. I got upset and I gave up. Rather than putting it down and coming back to it later and being like, okay, I'll figure this out later. I was like, nope, I'm bad at it. It doesn't make sense. I'm not gonna play it. For instance, Majora's Mask. Still have never played Majora's Mask. I loved Ocarina of Time. I've played it so many times over. Could not get into Majora's Mask because I didn't know how to play the game. I just didn't understand. It just made me mad. Banjo-Kazooie, same thing. Didn't know where I was going, couldn't figure it out. Gave up. Also, do you like my graveyard for all of my poor villagers who had to leave me? So it is interesting that my aversion to perfectionism as an adult, like my getting over the perfectionism, I should say, has extended to other things that I didn't even think about that yeah, it's extended even to video games, which is that's kind of cool. Hadn't really thought about that, but that's kind of cool. I'm sure it's extended to other parts of my life as well. Like I don't have insecurities in relationships anymore, probably because I don't feel like I need to be my perfect self 100% of the time. That probably helps. Like I'm sure there's more. I'm sure there's more things. If I really dug into it, I'm sure there's a lot of things that I probably, oh my God, there's so freaking many weeds up here. Holy moly. I bet there's a lot of things that my getting over perfectionism has actually led to me being a lot healthier and a lot happier, I would imagine. And I bet if you're having similar issues with perfectionism and being like, oh, it's not good enough, I bet if you fixed that, probably a lot of things in your life would also fall into place. A lot of dominoes would fall into place. And you'd be like, wait a minute, everything's so much better now. Because really, like, friendships, relationships, hobbies, interests, just how I feel about myself in general. Ever since I've let go of the perfectionism, it really does feel like I just feel more at peace. And it was not easy to get to this point. I will say that much. I don't even really know how I did it. It just sort of like, as I grew and evolved, just along the way, I sort of shed it, like a second skin kind of a deal. I don't know. It was just something that needed to go, and there was never an aha moment where I realized that. I don't know. I guess I just realized I grew up and I realized that it didn't help at all to have this feeling of needing to be perfect. There was no benefit to it at all. It was really just a detriment to myself. That was it. Yeah, 2 years and 7 months. Wasn't it 2 years and 8 months? Her math's a little off, but she's got the spirit. I know obviously it's easier said than done to be rid of the feeling like you need to be perfect at things. I am certainly not a mental health professional, but I would imagine the best way to do it is probably through therapy, which I've not had, but I have had many long, hard talks with myself in the middle of the night, which kind of counts as therapy. I've always been pretty in tune with how I feel, and I like to think that I can kind of piece together the reasons why I have the emotions that I have. And I try to be as level-headed as I can be too. I try to be reasonable and I try to talk to myself like a reasonable adult. But honestly, sometimes I even baby myself, and that's okay. Sometimes you can appeal to your inner child and say, listen, I know that you used to be really, really good at stuff, and maybe you feel like I've let you down by not being good at this stuff anymore. But I promise you, this isn't the end of it. This doesn't mean that I'm never gonna be good at anything. And it doesn't mean that your efforts were wasted. And just because I'm not necessarily good at something, you're not necessarily good at something, technically, it doesn't mean that you're lesser than, or that you have less value than other people because you're not inherently great at everything that you do. Sometimes you gotta just baby yourself a little bit. You gotta talk to your inner child and say, hey, it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. It's all right to screw up. And it's all right to just not be good. That doesn't mean you should stop doing that thing. That doesn't mean that you should give up on it. I mean, hell, there's plenty of people who they sucked at stuff until they were a certain age. Like, there's lots of people, like celebrities, like actors, artists, musicians, who didn't get good at their craft until much later in life. Or some of them even, like, they didn't, their value wasn't realized until they died, Which, I mean, the average person doesn't want to not be recognized until they die. But you know what I'm saying. Like, it's okay. It's okay that you aren't necessarily leaving a legacy. You aren't the greatest of all time. Are you comfortable in your own skin? Are you enjoying your life? Are you having a good time? Making friends, doing hobbies, creating things that you really like? Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're good at it. It matters that you're happy. And isn't that the main goal, is just to be happy? Okay, I've been avoiding it long enough. I have to go look at the stage. I've cleaned up all of the island except for this part. Oh my. Oh my. Pictures with Santa. Wow, there is a lot going on here. Oh, he's got a saxophone. Santa's groovy with it. I will say this stage is usually just a setup for all the instruments that I have. It's like a little, like an actual performance stage. Yeah, I might take this down after the video, to be honest. Maybe I'll keep it up for the winter because I probably won't be back for a while, you know? Efficiency. Anyways, the moral of the whole video is, at the end of the day, perfection is an unattainable idea, and anyone who says differently is trying to sell you something. Because it's snake oil. It's not real. Beware the influencer who shows off like the latest sponsored product and is like, this is the thing that will change your life. It will make everything perfect. You'll finally achieve perfection if you just drink this, eat this, use this, wear this. At most, all it's gonna do is break in a week, fall apart in the wash, or make you shit your brains out, to be honest. So do not fall for the scam that is perfection. On that note, I will leave you. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Just enjoyed watching me run around and fixing my island after the last time that I played 2.5 years ago. Let me know if you were a former gifted kid and if you're feeling the burnout, or if you maybe have learned to let go of being perfect. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!